I'm actually, as long as we're talking playoff baseball throughout the month of October with Patrick Royce, because nobody else will make this a headline and a stamp. We need to do it before every single show and just remind people that the Twins are 0-18 in their last 18 playoff games. Never forget, do not let them off the hook, even though the owner has said it's an A-plus job by the front office and the manager. And with that, what is a check swing, Patrick?
Not that one. That was certainly not. I have no idea what Gabe Morales was thinking. Really made no sense whatsoever, and it's unfortunate because the odds are about 80% that Scherzer would have struck him out on the next pitch anyway, right?
That's correct. Yeah, he was
0 for 18 for his career. You know what bothers me more than anything? When they went, shut up.
That's the robot ump that we need in the baseball playoffs, right there.
To be very clear, that was a phone and not your wife, too. So, for those people who might be like that, Royce, he's an a-hole.
You know what really bothers me is they went down, the pool reporter goes down and gets a reaction, right? And Ted Barrett is the crew chief. Well, Gabe Morales says, yes, he saw a replay. He thought he doesn't have the benefit of, several views of it on replay, and that he thought it was a swing. He thought it was a swing. So then the pool reporter obviously asked him, after seeing the replay, do you think you got the call right? And Barrett leaps in and says, yeah. He doesn't want to answer that.
Oh
wow. If Gabe Morales doesn't want to answer that and he's standing there talking to him, why doesn't Gabe Morales say, I don't want to answer that? Why do we need the crew chief to obviously they just talked to Gabe Morales, and as you guys know, all the umps are in one little room in there. So Gabe is sitting there. So why doesn't Gabe say, I don't want to answer that?
Yeah.
Why do we need the crew chief, the 60-year-old crew chief? And by the way, I knew we were in for a long evening when they had Doug Eddings behind the plate for this game too, because he stinks. I haven't liked him for years, and he was, I don't know what, 80 on the close ones. He was probably 50-50, right? So, but I don't like him as a plate umpire. You got to set it up somehow. The good thing, I guess, in this series is when Angel got the plate, it was a blowout, right? So Angel wasn't able to. That was the 9-2 game, I think.
What was he doing there, though?
Well, because he's the smartest guy in the world. He sued about when they were going to fire him for bumbling incompetence. He sued them for not being treated for enough respect because of his Latin heritage.
Wow.
And so he's got him terrified that he's going to,
I found, by the way, if you guys aren't already following Umpire Scorecards on Twitter, it's an amazing account. They grade every single umpire, and they put up a nice little, I'll just show this to the audience on YouTube, nice little infographic for every game. And so overall accuracy from Doug Eddings was 95% last night. So he was okay, but the calls that he missed led to an extra, it says, on average, 0.7 runs, so almost a full run advantage to the Dodgers last night on the calls that he missed.
In a 3-run game, that's rather important.
I was going to say, that's
in a 3-run game. But you know what? The check swing, an electronic strike zone is not going to help with that.
No, but like a replay would.
Love angle. What they have to do is some year. Now, we started probably with check swings in 1903 or something. Some year they're going to have to define it, aren't they?
Yes.
Well, couldn't they? Okay, so to break the plan of the play, if we all agreed right now, that overhead cam that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So you've got the home plate. It runs on a straight line all the way across, right? So if the bat breaks parallel to home plate,
Yeah,
it's a swing, right?
You got guys standing in different spots in the batter's box too, and stuff like that. I mean, it's going to be very, Plus, do we have an overhead camera?
Well, we did last night, anyways.
For huge games. But here's my point. Who decided that a guy standing a long way from home plate down the line would have this magical view of, oh, I saw where that bat was. The plate umpire couldn't, but I did.
Yeah, I don't know how.
The more you think about it, and like, my God, what if it's Joe West? He can barely see first base when he's umpiring first base.
Yeah,
I have no idea how that became the tradition, but I guess they thought they could see more. I don't know why.
It doesn't really make sense.
You might as well let the plate umpire guess. He has a better he's at least a foot away and can tell what kind of, I think maybe if the guy emitted a sound indicating energy, maybe we could call that a strike. That he was like, like he was trying. That he was started. He started to hit, and then he stopped.
I got it. Computer chip in home plate that can tell where the bat ends up. So if you break the plane, it goes beep 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 beep.
And if it doesn't, what plane are we talking about? It doesn't.
What plane are we talking about? If it crosses the front of home plate, so if it goes all the way through home plate.
If I develop this swing, I'll never have a check.
But no, but here's how I interpret it. Like the plane of I'm gonna try and explain this. This sounds good in my head. I'm gonna see how it translates. So the front of the plate is not the plane, but the front of the plate. The bat being parallel to the front of the plate is the plane. So wherever whether you're standing in the front or the back of the box, if your bat crosses that parallel plane, it's a swing, right?
I think that you would have very few check swings in. You would have very few strikes. I really think you would have very few strikes.
The thing that bothered me the most, it's like you're gonna make a wrong call, but I guess two things bother me most. Unless you're 1,000% sure. You can't call that a swing. You can't call that a swing. And then
my theory on the NFL, especially in that situation, you don't say that might have been a penalty.
No,
right? It has to be a penalty. And the trouble is they got too many officiating crews who say that might have been a penalty. I think I'll throw a flag.
Yep. And the later you get in the game, the more cautious you should be. Because people say, well, you should officiate the same way with 30 seconds left as you do in the first quarter.
Yes.
No, you shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't.
But the other thing is he was so sure about that call. It was a walk-off. He was like walking back to the dugout. He's like game over as he's making the call with confidence.
I think he got one stride towards first base and said, I got to get the hell out of here. I screwed that one.
Really? So he knew.
He knew.
So he ran out,
He bleeped it up. He didn't run off. He talked resolutely. He knew within 2 seconds that when he saw everybody grabbing their heads and, he knew he bleeped it up. He absolutely knew. And by the way, as the great Sid Hartman once said, 1,000 times said, there's a lot of stuff on that internet. So I was about 1:00 in the morning and I was trying to see if there was a reaction from the umpires yet. Right. So I typed in Gabe Morales check swing 2015, August 23rd, 2015, Paul Molitor's third ejection as the rookie manager of the Twins and Gabe Morales' first ejection of the season.
That's right.
Was getting tossed out because he called a check swing on Miguel Sano on an 0-2 pitch in Yankee Stadium, which, by the way, memorable because the Twins ended up winning that game, which is a miracle.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, but that was Molly's third ejection was Gabe Morales on a check swing.
Look at you.
Same situation.
Yeah.
0-2 in the ninth inning.
1 a.m. researching check swings. That speaks to your baseball fandom.
I mean, think about what happened. The entire millions of people, you got 40,000, 50,000 people in the stands, and so he checks his swing, and the world is staring at you asking, do you want to end this game right now?
One-run game.
And that dude said yes.
Yes.
And it's classic modern baseball because 2-1. game 24 of the season between these two teams. They both have 109 wins since this year. Everybody else in the league's got 85. They got 109 wins apiece. They're the two greatest rivals in baseball. Forget the Yankees and Red Sox. This one goes back to the 1880s.
Yeah,
they've had these classic playoffs. And everybody today is talking about a check swing instead of a great ball game.
I know.
But you know what? It's fitting. Baseball deserves this. Baseball does. And the other playoff decision that they made that I found absolutely hysterical is in one of the 1-game wild card playoffs, they gave as a goodbye Joe West home plate.
Yeah, but Joe West he's no worse than Doug Eddings.
No, but my point is find your best plate umpires and use them during the playoffs at least. Like Angel Hernandez being behind the plate is just ripe for debacle.
Yeah, well,
that's Joe West. Thanks, Country Joe. Make up the rules as we go for your parting shot.
That was a Westian moment yesterday for rallies because Joe would have said.
Joe would answer the question though.
This is a chance for me to be the most talked about person. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if it's good or bad. I'll get to have a little press conference afterwards.
If Ted Barrett had said Joe is not going to answer that question, Joe would have gotten up, punched Ted Barrett, and answered the damn question.
Yeah, that's true. So, it is amazing that you can get the Giants. I never had the impression my Giants were going to win that game, though. I never had the impression. The Dodgers don't have the masochist, sadist Trevor Bauer. They don't have Clayton Kershaw. And they come in at the end of the game. Okay, we'll give you Brusdar throwing 100 and the lefty throwing 90. I mean, Knebel throwing 98 to start. Then we'll throw the number one, the only 20-game winner in baseball. And then the unhittable Blake Trinan, followed by Kenley Jansen, who's throwing it as good as I've ever seen him all of a sudden out of nowhere because he now has a mix of pitches. You had no chance against that team.
Last night I saw, I think it was, Denny Hocking is on Twitter, the old twin Denny Hocking.
Yes.
And he was saying that he tweeted, Kenley Jansen's tipping his pitches. Can anyone else pick up what he's doing? And then a bunch of people tried to guess. And apparently, and then a couple other baseball players jumped in and said, oh, he's tapping like on a fastball. He was like, as he was about to go into his little stretch, he was like tapping the glove on a fastball. And Hocking said, I'm not sure if the hitters can see it from their angle, but you can definitely see it from the, the center field cam.
The way he's throwing them with the variety of pitches, that may not make any difference.
I know.
He's throwing a lot of he's throwing more breaking balls than the cutter. And then when he throws hard, he still throws 97.
Did you guys think that our guy late night Lamont Wade for a split second when he turned on that pitch?
I was so hoping.
But I heard somebody sent me a tweet. Typical Twin takes strike 3. Well, it was a ball. Scherzer
he just didn't say a word.
He didn't say a word, but it was ball. Yeah. It was 2 inches off the plate, and when you're trying to he's Lamont. You're in there against Scherzer in the 9th inning. You need a pitch over the plate if you're going to do something with it, right? So
but how glorious and rich would that have been if late night Lamont had ended? The Twins Twitter would have been aflame. It would have been fantastic. It's right up my alley.
My God.
Yeah, who I like a lot? Brian Anderson and Ron Darling.
Brian Anderson's really
a very good team. Anderson is an extremely knowledgeable play-by-play guy. He brings a lot to the table, and Darling's a good. There was no NFL Chris Collingsworth ass kissing for the referee or anything. Darling went after him. Darling said, "This is an awful way for a great game to end," and got on him right off the bat. He said, "Oh!" You could hear him in the background. No, they knew from upstairs in the press box that it was a bad call without seeing any replay.
Yeah. I will say I'm not for as great as the TNT NBA, Inside the NBA show is, and the NHL show looks like they're going to have some fun. Ernie Johnson's just pulling teeth, I feel like, with Jimmy Rollins and Pedro. Like, Pedro just wants to sit there and break down like the intricacies of pitch grips. And then Curtis Granderson, I watched for 10 minutes, didn't say a word.
Which is weird. I thought he'd be great.
Yeah.
Who kept saying, why did Jimmy Rollins played with the Dodgers for 20 minutes, right? And he said, we did this, we did that.
And then they bought him out, right? Wasn't he one of the buyouts?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, Jimmy, shut up.
He said, who was saying we?
I usually like Pedro. What happened to Don Trell? Bring back Don Trell.
He's great.
Don Trell.
He's Fox.
Oh. Is he Fox?
He's
a Fox guy.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Ernie is not at ease either with that crew because he doesn't know where to go.
Yeah.
For a guy to make an articulate argument, right? Because
they're not having any fun. Like usually, Ernie throws it up, and then Charles and Kenny start to fight, and it's fun. And now it's like Ernie's got like 100 questions he's trying to throw out to get these guys to have fun, and they're just guys lay down.
There's disorder on the NBA thing, but there's order as to who gets started. Ernie looks over. Ernie looks over to his left, and the guy on his right starts talking. Jimmy Rollins. So it's bad.
Somebody put a quarter in Curtis Granderson. I want to hear his thoughts.
Poor baseball, as the son of an undertaker used to say, he could screw up a one-car funeral. The base. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yep.
It's unbelievable how that ended up being the topic of the day. That's for sure.
And that show feels like the one show too that they have where baseball being baseball might say, we gotta. I mean, let's keep this on point. Let's keep this on because it feels like they're purposely trying to keep it on track. And the whole TNT formula is to not, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if baseball.
This
actually
is
like,
TBS, but same difference.
Yeah. But the company, but I'm saying their studio formula is to almost lose control of the show because it makes it really fun.
Well, here's what else is interesting. TBS gave them all this money. Turner gave them, or whoever owns that now, gave them all that money. But you got baseball is hurting in the ratings anyway. But you have no chance if this game like this is on TBS. How could this game not be on one of the 4 major networks?
Oh man,
it's ridiculous.
It's pretty bad. Bring back Chip Carey. I want the full TBS experience. Bring back
Skip Carey. Bring back Skip.
Well, Skip would be. We would. That would be very impressive.
Skip would
Lazarus like.
Skip would still be complaining, ladies and gentlemen. If you promise to support our loyal sponsors, you have my permission to change channel.
He was the greatest.
One night with the Braves in the 8th inning when there's 2,000 fans in the stands, they're getting beat 12-2. Skip said, "You have my permission to change channels."
Amazing.
He was. I got to see him having cocktails once. He was a buddy of my old drinker buddy Frankie Highland. I wasn't drinking anymore, but. Skip and Frankie they were making up for my abstinence.
Yeah.
And he was just as funny in person in the bar as he was on the air. That's for sure.
Hey, speaking of drinking, who wins quickly? Vikings, Panthers.
I got a sneaky hunch the Vikings might. A week ago, I wanted to bet it, but then after Darnold goes out and throws 3 interceptions and now McCaffrey's not going to play again, and they really rely on him way more so than the Vikings do on Delvin Cook. I got a hunch, maybe the Vikings. Otherwise, pack it up, baby. It's over.
Yep.
Good with the if they go into the break gloomy, I don't know. They'll come closer than they did when they went down there after the Love Boat. I'll say that.
All right, there it is.
Steve Smith,
please start the game when you're doing highlights on Panthers Vikings history when they're doing the deal. They got to have Steve Smith.
You have to.
Rowing the boat.
Greatest moment.
Fred Smoot. What happened?
Dante writhing in pain, his leg snapped in half.
Yes.
Oh, God. What a disaster.
Yeah, but what we forget about is how horrible Dante was playing before he got hurt.
It was bad.
Back at that. I don't know what happened to him. He didn't know if he's on foot or
his OC left. OC left. That was a big deal.
Yeah, that and the fact he found out he wasn't making any money. He thought he was going to make $120 million. He was making $4 an hour.
Oh, you're right.
Negotiating his own contract. Not bright, Dante.
All hands.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, Pat.
Yeah, Pat.
I'm going to go downtown, look for Nebraska fans. See if
row the boat, Sky-Ma, go Gophers. All right.
To fire Scott Frost yet or not.
I'll be at Mariucci tonight, Pat.
What?
I'll be at Mariucci tonight. I'll be watching Gophers Huskies tonight.
Oh, that'll be good. That'll be good. Yes. All right.
All right. See you, Pat.
St. Cloud and Red Wisconsin.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
See you.
All right. That's Rapping with Royce. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays here on Mackey and Judd.